In this step-by-step video, I show you how to install Windows 10 on your Mac using Boot Camp, but this time on an external drive. Check it out. So installing Windows 10 on your Mac using Boot Camp on an external drive is just slightly more complicated than installing Windows 10 via Boot Camp on an internal drive on your Mac. The good news is that it's not overly difficult, it just takes a little bit of time. So if you follow along here, I'll show you how to do it. The first thing you're going to need is the Windows 10 ISO. I'll have a link in the description where you can go to get that. So you want to select Windows 10 under the anniversary update, choose your language, and I think I still speak English, and then click confirm. And then you want to choose the 64-bit download, save that to your desktop, which I've already done, as you can see right here. So there's the Windows 10 ISO, ready to go. The next thing we need is VMware Fusion. Now, this comes with a free 30-day trial, so that's plenty of time for you to follow along with this tutorial. You can download it using the link in the description. And once you do, save it to your desktop, as I've done right here. All right, and then the last thing we're going to need is a Windows utility called Win2USB. And again, we'll have that link in the description. You can download it, save it to your desktop, which I've done right here, windowusbfree.exe. All right, so once you have those three things downloaded and saved to your desktop, it's time to get started. So open up Finder, open Applications, open the Utilities folder, and then open up Boot Camp Assistant. Once Boot Camp Assistant is open, go to the menu bar and select Action and select Download Windows Support Software. This will download the Boot Camp drivers for you. All right, so you want to just save that to your desktop. It's going to save a Windows Support folder to your desktop. Click Save. And this will take some time. Now you'll notice throughout this whole tutorial, I'm going to speed things up quite a bit, so you're not sitting here waiting. So in other words, don't be alarmed when it takes longer for you. Just pause the video and then you can pick right back up. All right, so we're almost done there. You see the Windows Support folder on the desktop. It's going to ask for your administrator password. Just put that in, click OK. And once it's all done, click Quit. And like I said, there is Windows Support on the desktop. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is to connect your external drive to your Mac, the one you're going to use to install Windows Boot Camp on, preferably an SSD if possible. Once you have it connected, macOS should recognize that drive. There it is, tough SSD. All right, so we want to open up the Finder again, go back to Applications, go back to Utilities. This time we want to open up Disk Utility. Alrighty. Now there's a lot going on here on my disk utility. I'm just going to minimize everything and concentrate on the CalDigit Tough Media drive, which is the drive I just connected. You want to select your drive and then click Erase. Make sure there's nothing on the drive that you need. Back anything up that you may need. For name, use Boot Camp, format macOS Extended Journaled, scheme, GUID, partition map, click Erase, and it goes through and does its thing. Then click Done. Now you can close out of Disk Utility. Okay, so now it's time to go ahead and get our virtual machine set up. Again, we're going to use VMware Fusion, so just open up the DMG file. We can mount that. It'll take just a second. All right, now double click where it says VMware Fusion. And then click Open when you see it ask you to do so. All right. Now put in your administrator password, and then click OK. All right, then select Agree. And then I want to try VMware Fusion 8 for 30 days. Click Continue. Put in an email address, your email address if you want to do that, and then click Continue. Put your administrator password back in. Uncheck Yes, unless you want to get emails, and then click Done. Okay, on the Select the Installation Method screen, make sure Install from Disk or Image is selected and click Continue. Now just drag the Windows 10 disk image over to the landing spot, like this. and release. Then click Continue. And then in the drop-down box at the bottom, choose your Windows version, in this case Windows 10 Pro, and then click Continue. Click Continue without key, select More Isolated, click Continue, and then click Finish, and then click Save. Okay, the thing I love about VMware Fusion is that if you choose the easy install, it really is easy. It sets everything up for you. You don't have to interface with the setup at all. It's non-interactive. It just does its thing. And like I said earlier, I sped this up obviously to help get through this as soon as possible. But again, VMware Fusion is just a wonderful tool. Totally worth the price, in my opinion, if you want to outright buy it, because it makes the Windows installation that easy. So there we are, folks, already at our desktop. Didn't have to interact with the setup at all. So if you see this, you can just click yes. I'm using a wired network, so I don't have to connect to a wireless network. If you need to do that, you can go ahead and do so. If you get a prompt about antivirus, just select Don't Show Again. Now it's time to eject our external drive so that the Windows virtual machine can recognize it. So just right click on the external drive, select Eject Boot Camp, and there we go. So now we're just going to disconnect and reconnect the external drive to the Mac, like that. And now VMware Fusion is smart enough to recognize the new connection, so it's going to ask, where would you like to connect the drives? Select Connect to Windows. Okay, so now our external drive is connected to Windows. Now it's time to right-click on the Start menu and select Disk Management. And then you should see the external drive. You should be able to tell by the size. I want to right-click on the primary partition, like this, and select Delete Volume. And then select Yes. That'll delete that volume. And now we'll just have a block of unallocated space. So right click on the unallocated space and select New Simple Volume. Then click Next, click Next again, click Next again, and then make sure that file system is NTFS, and then give the volume label a name. Let's call it Boot Camp. And then click Next. Now click Finish. All right, so it's going to format it, NTFS, that primary partition, and you also have your EFI partition as well. So we can close out of disk management. And now we want to go up to Virtual Machine, go to CD, DVD, SATA, select Choose Disk or Disk Image. Now we want to go to our desktop and point to the Windows disk image, and then click Open. All right, so now we want to go back up to the menu bar, Virtual Machine, CD, DVD, SATA, and then connect CD/DVD. And this will mount the Windows 10 disk image. Okay, so now back to our Mac desktop. We want to grab the Win to USB executable and drag that over to the Windows desktop on the virtual machine and release. And then do the same with the Windows support folder. I'm going to drag that over to the Windows virtual machine as well, the desktop, and release. That'll take a while because it's pretty big. Okay, so now we want to install Win to USB. Just double click on it. And then select Yes. And then OK. I accept. Next. 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 Install. Finish. And just close out of the browser that opens. I don't know why they do that, but they do. So you want to open up Win to USB now, and then click Yes, and close out of the browser again. Then check Update on Startup if you want to. It's up to you. Click OK. Then choose the little CD drive here, and then in the drop-down menu, select your Windows 10 disk image, which is right here. All right, make sure Windows 10 Pro is selected, and then click Next. And then for destination disk, select your external drive, which is right here. Now under EFI system partition, choose the first radio button there for EFI, And then under boot partition, choose the radio button next to Boot Camp. And then make sure Legacy is selected and then click Next. All right, this is going to take a little while. So basically you're installing Windows 10 on the external drive now. And I sped this up quite a bit. Just be patient, it's going to take a while on your machine. Okay, so now we're at 100%, so we're finished, installed successfully. Just click the home button and then close out of Win to USB. Okay, so now open up Windows Explorer and then open up the Boot Camp drive. And now drag the Windows support folder from the desktop over to the Boot Camp drive. That way we have our drivers ready to go once we boot into Windows on our Mac. Okay, so now we can go ahead and shut down the virtual machine. It's been nice knowing you. Thanks for helping out VMware Fusion. So go up to virtual machine, select shut down, click shut down. And now you can quit VMware Fusion. Okay, so now back to the macOS desktop. We're going to go ahead and open up System Preferences. And then click where it says Startup Disk. Click the little lock in the bottom left hand corner. You see the Boot Camp windows there, but click the lock first. Put in your administrator password, click unlock, and then select Boot Camp Windows. And then click Restart. So this is going to restart into the Windows Boot Camp setup from the external drive on your Mac. So just click Restart. And here's what you're going to see when you reboot: the Windows logo. So this is the initial Windows setup. This will obviously take a while. Just be patient. I've sped this up. So basically you just go through the setup again, but this time everything's running on that external drive. Really cool. So again, set it up to your liking. I turn off all the privacy settings. So folks, we have a Boot Camp Windows 10 installation on our external drive running on our Mac. Last thing you need to do, open up Windows Explorer, open up the Boot Camp folder, find Windows support that we prepared earlier. I want to open that up, open up Boot Camp, and then double click on Setup. And this will go through the Boot Camp setup to install all of the necessary drivers for things like your Magic Keyboard and for the display adapter, all that stuff. You can see the drivers there. Definitely don't forget to do that to complete the installation. It'll ask you to reboot, and once you do, you're going to see a little Boot Camp logo in the Task Manager. You can click on that to go to the Boot Camp control panel or to restart back into macOS. So ladies and gents, that is how you set up a Windows 10 Boot Camp installation on an external drive on your Mac. If you appreciated this video, please leave me a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos. Let me know what you think in the comments. This is Jeff with 9to5Mac.